What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman here for Stokastic.com, back again with the process kicking off September. Today is Thursday, September 1st. I have no idea where this year went, but we got to September pretty quickly. I'm not mad about it. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for slightly cooler temperatures, but we're not here for my thoughts on climate. We're here to talk a little DFS. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman, and then go check out Prize Picks, presenting sponsor of this video. If you click in the description and click the link, head on over to Prize Picks, use the promo code AWESEMO, AWESEMO. You can get up to $100 on your first deposit. You don't got to worry about sharks, optimizers. I love Fantasy Cruncher, not necessary here. You're picking over-unders. You're building parlay cards. Looking to hit 5. If you hit 5, you win up to 10x your entry fee. Highly, highly recommend you guys check them out. We got plenty of tools at Stokastic and Odd Shopper that I think will help you out a lot. So, exposures for yesterday. A couple things stood out immediately, and I honestly don't really have great answers for them. We'll get to something fun in the end, but let's just look at 5-man stacks quickly. Relay throw, as usual, significantly stacked more than the mini-max, 13% more, in fact. But then we get to the crazy part. The Oakland A's were in 5-man stacks in the mini-max 6% of the time. In the relay throw, that number was 11. I'm going to make all of these smaller, too. There's no need to go out to one decimal point. That's just silly. Okay, perfect. 11 in the relay throw, a bump of 5%. That's the biggest we've seen since we started looking at this. I had no Oakland. I went the other way. I went to Washington. I don't love this at all. I feel like I missed here pretty bad. I went back and looked to see if there was anything specific that was causing me to not get to Oakland. I didn't see anything on the surface. I just simply didn't have what the high dollar 150 maxers deemed to be not only the best stack, but the biggest jump between squares and sharps. So 6% in the mini max to 11, twice as owned. And I made sure to check and see, like, oh, there's not somebody didn't run a 150 train with Oakland or anything like that. There's nothing clouding this. This is just standard issue stacks. Part of the reason, for sure, is that, well, part of the reason on the surface to me would have been, well, we've got really expensive DeGrom, we've got really expensive Cole, we've got really expensive Wright to a degree. Lance Lynn was priced pretty reasonably. Is all that ownership for DeGrom and Cole causing this run up of value stacks? And like, to me, the answer was yes, for sure. But to get Oakland all the way to 11, I mean, that is a very, very clear and distinct difference in process. So if you were on Oakland in the mini-max, kudos. If that was a heavy stand that you made, you were on the goods yesterday. Seattle, second biggest exposed team in the relay. I mean, Seattle, Toronto, Atlanta, and Philly were all 9% in the relay throw. I took a stand on one of those teams. That was Toronto. And I thought that they were going to pop even more here. Ultimately, they didn't. I'm happy to have Toronto. I'm not happy to how light I was at the top. I should have had, I guess, a little bit more Seattle. I wouldn't have been mad to have a little bit more Philly. Don't mind the Atlanta one. I didn't have the White Sox and didn't really have Arizona. Don't mind any of that. It all really comes down to Oakland. And to me, that is just a giant miss on my part. Getting to Washington over Oakland, I think, is mildly reasonable. I don't know if Oakland should have been 2-1 to Washington or slightly more than 2-1 in the relay throw. But either way, I feel like I made a mistake. I'm happy about taking a stand on Kansas City. They were 2x. Relay throw to mini-max, and we're talking about a 4% team. We're talking about the 10th most exposed team in the relay throw yesterday. But I think a lot of my builds looked at a situation where you couldn't really get away from DeGrom, you couldn't get away from Cole, you couldn't get away from Lynn for all intents and purposes. And once I only have basically 3 pitchers, my goal was to run to the bottom of hitting. And other than Toronto just simply standing out, we're talking about Washington, KC, Chicago, Minnesota. Very large stands on teams that were not pulling a lot of ownership. So I was willing to eat the chalk pitching wise, and then hope for the outlier stack in the middle towards the bottom. And that didn't work out. Philly was the team that you ultimately needed. They went crazy in the late night. Shout out to the guy that was in our strategy show yesterday telling us that it was ridiculous that Philly was the favorite. Well, that didn't seem to work out for you. But ultimately, you had to have Philly. That was the only thing that was going to matter for you. I'm happy with this structure. I'm unhappy with the fact that I didn't get to Oakland. That, to me, is a giant mistake. From a pitching perspective, I had DeGrom right in that wheelhouse of 60-something%. Clearly a great play. I was heavier on Cole. I thought the salary savings was important. I thought the matchup difference was important. It doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. You just kind of needed those guys. I was, however, pretty light on Lance Lynn. He was in the 40s for ownership. I only got to 25. I basically took some of Lance. Well, I had 163% between DeGrom, Cole, and Lynn. That is slightly higher than the public. I didn't really get to Wright. He was negative between the relay throw and the mini max, so I'm happy about that. I just cast a pretty big net at the bottom. Got to Falter, Gonzalez. None of this really mattered. If you had most of those pay up options, you were in good shape. Cole wasn't great. Ended up giving it up in the 7th, I believe. But DeGrom was outstanding. Lynn was really good. Wright was good. Can't really ask for anything else from a pitching perspective. All told, I'm not really stoked about the way that yesterday shook out, but I don't have anything that I really care about. The biggest negative is Oakland, and I think that's the thing that carries the most weight. So that's going to be something that I pay attention to in the future. Am I getting to the wrong value stack? I really don't know what the action item is coming out of this, but I do think that I got this wrong somehow. If we look at these contests, it was a great day for the 150 maxers at the top. You see, if I just filter this down by 150 like I did before, they're making up, 80% of the top 40. It's just jammed with 150 maxers. We see 1-800-EDDIE up here. I'm sure Adam's around here somewhere. I don't have much else to add. The 150 maxers played a lot of Philly, and that worked out quite well. Note the winning score, 200.1 for Squirrel Patrol. Congrats to Squirrel. 200.1. Solid score. That's the relay throw. I didn't get in the relay throw yesterday. I played the low dollar mini max. 50 cents to get in. Not $500 or not $50,000 to first, but just $500. And I won it with 201.1, which would have won the relay throw. So, no, I'm not salty. I am happy that I won. My lineups were not good other than this. And that's what I want to point out here. Chip in a chair. All you need is one. I got my clock cleaned. You guys saw my exposures before. They weren't good. They weren't Philly. Here's how interesting this is. I had one. I repeat. I got to charge my watch. I had one 5-man Philadelphia Phillies stack yesterday. It is the only lineup I had with a Philadelphia Phillies stack. And it shipped the mini max and would have shipped the relay throw. What do I do with that kind of information? I'm not am I happy that I won? Have I been running cold in terms of finishing third or fourth or fifth in situations where I inundate a contest with 1% lineups? Yes, I have. Does it feel better? on the opposite end, having no lineups that are any good. I mean, this is like a 90th percentile lineup. That's my second best lineup. I hit the, it went incredibly well. And I picked up a BINK. Nice to see. After yesterday finishing, or 2 days ago, finishing 9th in the 4-seamer. Spoiler alert, this would have won the 4-seamer by a mile. Ended up picking up the win in the mini-max, but I can't look at this and think like, oh, Josh, you really deserved that. I deserve it if I bunch everything together multiple days. I don't deserve it for yesterday's performance, but that's all that matters. I picked up the W. Here's the lineup for you guys. Jake DeGrom and Lance Lynn. 5-man Philly stack, which was great. Kevin Plawecki and JD Martinez, also great. Plawecki, basically unowned. JD, basically unowned. And then CJ Abrams for Washington, also not all that owned. Flat 2K. Picked up 11 fantasy points. Yay me. Yay me. So there it is. We've been waiting for this one for a while now. This process show has been going for a bit. Haven't had the opportunity to talk about something like this. Gotta, add a couple in the top 5 in other contests, but this is the one. Is it a great payout? No. Does that matter? Also, no. Remember what we're doing here. We're trying to build it up, and these are the type of contests that we have to get in to be able to do so. $500 is a lot when it's a 50-cent entry. Let's not forget that. So that will cover us for a bit in terms of entering the 150, or in terms of entering the 50-cent mini-max. So kudos to me in this one. I got to give myself the old Patsky on the Batsky. First place. Wish it would have been in the relay throw. I would have much preferred $50,000 instead of $500. But I also would have been hanging 2K plus out as a buy-in. So I wouldn't have won the actual mini-max. That's the interesting piece here. Basically the same payout. So I would have ended up finishing 4th for $500. So to me, that all worked out as intended. I can't complain at all. It would have won the 4-seamer. Did I put that up here yet? No, I didn't. It doesn't matter. I mean, the 4-seamer is a 20 max contest. I would have to get really lucky to have that in there. But yeah, not fun, guys. Not fun. When you know that you would have had the bigger number. It's just always just to twist that knife a little bit. But that's what we've got for today. The moral of the story is that even though I won, I'm not happy with the success because I missed out on what was pretty clearly, at least to the sharps, I missed out on the best stack. And I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's because I prioritize the Washington Nationals over Oakland. I think that's the easiest, that's the Occam's razor explanation. But I'm not happy. I'm not totally happy with the way that my hitting exposure broke out yesterday. However, it's better to be lucky and good. I'll take the dub with my individual just one Philadelphia Phillies stack. That's all I got for you guys today. Tomorrow we're going to look at baseball results again for sure. We'll see if there's anything else that we could take a peek at. Maybe we'll look at some college football contests for Saturday. I'm not gonna be able to play those college football contests on Saturday. Unfortunately, I've got to go to a wedding. Do got to get my MMA lineups in though. That I'm not going to miss. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for joining me. Hit the like button if you're excited that I picked up a W in the mini max. And if you're liking what we're doing here, also hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. Prize Picks is the sponsor. Let me know in the comment section if there's anything else you guys want to see. But good luck. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody. Talk to you again closing out the work week tomorrow.